about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated
To our favorite shows.
Oh, my tickets!
Everybody loves Hippo Toes.
Gary Dog!
Dancing at Blurnsville.
Futurama.
Good evening. You are listening to a Radulich and Broadcasting Premier Podcast TV Party Tonight. I'm your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And tonight, our favorite show is AEW All Elite Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door 2022. Forbidden Door took place at the something center in Chicago.
United Airs.
That's the one, the very same.
Chicago Bulls play there, for gosh sakes.
I don't watch basketball. That voice you hear is, of course, Mr. Neil Blackwood. How you doing, sir?
Good. Ready to talk a great wrestling pay-per-view.
Outstanding. Ooh. And, of course, down there where he belongs is the Rainmaker! Rainmaker! Chris Bailey, how do you do?
In Canada, I'd be known as the Snow Shoveler, but that's another story for another day. Oh, listen, man, I'm super pumped to talk about this, but I got some stuff to say, and I may be literally taken from the internet after this. I got a mathematical question for you guys.
Okay, what's your mathematical question?
If you subtracted chest slaps, forearm strikes, and knee lifts from this pay-per-view, what would you get? What would be the sum?
You'd have 2 nickels.
You would have no New Japan whatsoever.
Wow.
Wow, that is shots fired, and buddy, I'm full of shots today. Let's roll.
Really? Have you been drinking? Well, you're home today, so you're not drinking on the job. Real quick,
No,
Neil, did you watch New Japan when it was on Access TV?
I've watched New Japan off and on my entire life. I find it everywhere. So not just on Access TV. I try to find it anytime I can, anywhere. So it's one of my top 4s.
Okay. Do you subscribe to like New Japan World and catch stuff on there as often as you can?
No, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I usually download it, find it, download it. So
it is readily available, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've, what about you?
I live in Tulsa. They don't believe in Japan.
Japan is one of them mythical creatures.
It's a mythical thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've caught stuff here and there. I catch some stuff on like Fight TV.
Yep.
I know when John Moxley was the IWGP champion of some description or other, I was following it a little bit more closely. Whenever he had, say? When John Moxley was the
no, it's John Moxley.
It's more or less Gian
Moxley. We all got that out of our system. I've covered shows here and there, depending on who was on them and what the main events were.
Yeah.
I definitely caught on to the Jazz after like the big Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho stuff that really pushed it forward. I've been kind of intermittently following it. Like I remember probably the last thing I paid really close attention to was when Dave Meltzer was clutching his pearls when Tanahashi and whoever the other guy was kept dropping each other on their head. Remember that? There was one match where like nobody cared so much about the match. All anyone wanted to talk about was how these two motherfuckers were going to give each other like brain damage.
Yes. And listen. It's one of the problems with New Japan, and if you follow it long enough, you would understand that they wrestle the same matches over and over and over ad nauseum. And listen, I wish I was joking. I wish I was being a critical asshole. I'm not. It's the same stuff.
I have to amend that.
Monday Night Raw.
Bad luck. Hang on.
Chest slap.
In defense of New Japan
knee lift
style, Bad Luck Fale doesn't wrestle like anybody on that promotion.
You're right about that. You're right about that. Okay, so Okada, greatest wrestler in the world, right? Greatest wrestler in the world. Clothesline. 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 I don't care. I'm pissed today. Let's roll. I'm ready.
I'm gonna need you to take a Xanax. Just calm the fuck down, please. My last
is weed legal in your state, bro?
It is. He was first.
He's from the United States of Canada, so maybe. My last table setting question for both of you guys is, because I was thinking about this pay-per-view and I was thinking about Invasion. Growing up as wrestling fans, we're all roughly in the same age. We're all in our 40s somewhere. We all grew up with what if WWF and the NWA or WCW, depending on what year we're talking about, did a joint pay-per-view. And we were like, what about Sting and The Undertaker? What about Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan? What about this? What about that? And we would see versions of those things when people would jump companies. So Ric Flair comes over, and we eventually get Flair versus Hogan. We get Flair Savage. We get this. We get that. People jump over to the WCW, and we get, oh my god, for the first time ever, blah blah blah. Yucky smacky. But it all always seemed past its due date. Like by the time people made the jump, the interest in those big matchups had faded in a lot of ways. And then you think about and Neil, you and I think talked about this. I think you were on the WrestleMania show when this was discussed. The Invasion pay-per-view. By the time you finally get to it's WCW versus the WWE versus ECW, two of those companies are gone now. Two, the big stars aren't there. And so it's like, it's monumental in its concept, but it fails in its execution. Which brings me to...
Stasiak was worth every moment, man.
I'm sure he was. Good old meat. Well, my question to you guys is, Forbidden Door, too little too late? Or maybe just hitting at the right time, just before it was too late? What do you think, Neil?
To me, I get the whole too little too late thing, but there's a lot of good matches on this card. So therefore, I mean, even if you just grabbed, Booker T and threw him against The Rock, you still got Booker T versus The Rock,
True. That's right.
And that's what you really got here was not every big name was on the card, but there were some names on the card from both companies that I thought, whatever, at least I got to see it,
Yep.
All right. Bailey, if you got nothing, then let's just get into the buy-in here. We opened up with Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. They defeated QT Marshall and Aaron Solo.
Move on.
Okay.
Means
honestly,
nothing.
I put it on. I was watching it on YouTube before the pay-per-view started, and it was just like, I'm waiting for my friends to get here. This is fine. There was nothing really to it.
I almost closed the Forbidden Door.
There was a little to it because this actually continued a story from QT Marshall kept interrupting New Japan matches for like the past couple of years. So there was a storyline.
Everybody cares about that, Neil.
Yeah, no, there was a storyline that did end up on this one, but
all right, that's fair. Moving on. The Murder Hawk Monster. I was at a friend's house watching this, and again, it was a lot of like chaos. People were coming in, coming out, just getting home. And every time anyone walked in the room, I was just like, "It's the Murder Hawk Monster!" I was like, screaming. They're like, "Who's a what now?"
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
So Murder Hawk recently joined the Jericho Appreciation Society. He's now aligned with that crew somewhat. So he had some recent altercations.
Lance Archer and what's his nuts from that was in TNA. His name is currently escaping me. How do you have a guy that looks like they do and can't find anything worthy to do with them after a while?
Well, listen, injuries, your manager gets sidelined with illness. I mean, it's just a litany of stuff that happened when he had a hot streak going. You had Miro's push happening midway. You got WWE guys coming left and right with no storylines and pushing back some of the guys who are currently on storylines. He just fell into wrong place, wrong time for Murder Hawk, and it's too bad.
And the thing is that kind of happens his entire career. That's not just happened now. I mean, like even back when he was starting and he only had like one tattoo. Poor
choice tattoo.
Every time this guy is in, no matter what promotion he was in, it just seems like wrong time, wrong place.
Yeah. Hoytomania. Remember Hoytomania? I still got the shirt.
All right. Well, Lance Archer defeated Nick Comoroto. I mean, it was fine. Lance Archer always puts on a good big man slap and meat match. Nick Camarado was there for it.
Nick Camarado looks like a beast, man. If you repackaged him under something, he would be something. He just can't be that gimmick.
He could be the berserker.
Man, no, like I'm serious. If you ever went back to classic 90s WWE like a gimmick era, this guy would be a massive star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next match on the buy-in. I can't believe the buy-in had this many matches on it, by the way.
Oh yeah, it was massive.
It was a good buy-in, I thought.
Absolutely.
Honestly, this was just the first hour of a pay-per-view. This was not like, hey, here's two low-card people, to get you to buy the pay-per-view. This was like just the first hour they gave away for free.
And the crowd was molten hot for all this stuff.
Well,
and
I mean, look
they were.
You got Swerve, Strickland, and Swerve, bro.
And the Limitless Keith Lee,
That's
one of my favorite wrestlers right now.
Not wearing a tennis skirt.
Limitless waistline. Limitless.
Limitless.
Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to complain about Keith Lee this time, and that's typically one of my shticks. I think this tag team has something. Swerve and Lee, there's something there, man. I really like that connection.
The only thing that upsets me about this connection right now is that they're already doing that whole, are they going to be together?
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to break up? I don't need that from every damn tag team that's formed between two superstars.
But it's been like 3 weeks. They're hardly the Midnight Rockers.
Yeah,
put it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's always like in any one of these situations, you always have the one guy walking around with a barbershop window, like,
he's going right to the back of that bad boy.
I'm gonna Marty Jannetty you.
Wrestling doesn't beat the same gimmick to death at all.
No.
Have you heard of the Montreal Screwjob? Anyway, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee
I'm still upset.
defeated El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. I mean, Swerve and Keith Lee, you guys have already said it. They work really well together.
They do.
High paced.
Good chemistry with two nobodies. Yeah. It was perfect.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. And honestly, this was the highlight of the whole. This was the highlight of the whole buy-in for me.
Definitely.
Billy Gunn, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Max Caster. Put all the belts on Max Caster.
I love it.
Danhausen!
I got something for you, ass boys.
Danhausen!
It's great. The Ass Boys, the gimmick is firing on all cylinders.
So
pairing them up with Caster and the boys, it's just a great fit.
I want to be Max Caster when I grow up.
I know.
I have decided. Yo, listen.
It's great.
I was walking around work, and anytime, like literally walking around my job, and anytime somebody spoke to me, I'd be like, yo, listen, and then we go into
it's
whatever.
Great. It's great.
Max Caster. I've been listening to nothing but Max Caster dish raps for the last 40 hours.
they're terrible and great all at once. I mean, I love it. It is hilarious.
The funny thing is, when you meet the Gun Club or whatever, they totally play the "We hate Danhausen." Like when I met him at WrestleCon, they made it very clear. I was like, "I think Danhausen's here." They go, "Where is he? Well, go knock him!" They were like, it was.
That's cool. I like when they do that.
I need Max Caster to be the All Elite Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. I need him. Take the belt off Punk, take the belt off Moxley. Spoilers. Put it on Max Caster, and I just let him come out every match and just diss rap everybody.
Well, listen, man, when that music hits, man, and he starts it, the crowd pops huge every time. Every time.
Because he's so goddamn funny. I mean,
he is.
Think about year one of freestyle John Cena, and how cutting and biting he was before they ruined him.
There's something there with both of those guys. Like that tag team itself there's something special there as well. And
Anthony Bowman needs to not injure himself every week.
I know.
And there's another thing we need to talk about with this group too, is how do you make two guys villains and two guys faces pretty much, and they're in the same team hanging out together all the time.
Pal,
how that happens.
Well, pal, we've moved beyond the simple concepts of good guys versus bad guys. We don't want to insult the audience's intelligence. Anyway, they took on Yuya Uemura, Alex Coughlin, the DKC, and Kevin Knight. Honestly, I just want to talk more about Max Caster. You guys?
Yes. It was great. It was great.
All right, we finally get to the pay-per-view proper. And we have Chris Jericho, who looks like a deflated balloon now. He's not so much fat as he is just.
He's ripped until he gets to the chest level, and then he goes Kofi Kingston cave job.
He looks like a walking.
It's true, you know it. They have similar chest plates.
He looks like a walking version of the melted paint, the melted clock painting.
Oh my God!
Everything is just
Jericho can't win. Jericho can't win. One day he's fat shamed, the next day he's like super slender, and then his chest is not good enough. What do we want from Chris Jericho, guys? Come on.
I thought we were past body shaming him.
To not look like melted ice cream. You're a professional wrestler, for God's sake.
Oh my God! The professionalism out the door.
But hey, the hotness himself, Sammy Guevara, Les Sex God, and Death Grandpa, Minoru Suzuki. Again, people watching wrestling with me for the first time or hearing me talk about it now for the first time just think I like have Tourette's or something, because I was just like get on one guy and just constantly scream his name. And so on this particular match, I was just running around the room yelling Death Grandpa at Minoru Suzuki.
Death Grandpa.
He's
I
so
saw
good.
him at WrestleMania week. He literally wrestled like every card I went to that wasn't WWE.
Have you checked out Harry and I's Best of the Collective or any of the collective shows that we did? Like half of them had Minoru Suzuki on it.
Yeah,
he was everywhere.
He's
guys,
everywhere
guys. If your only move is a chest slap and a forearm, it's no problem.
Don't you disparage the good goddamn.
No,
name
I'm done. I'm done hiding under the veil of kayfabe. You guys are getting it up the ass today. That
he's
is
a badass. I don't know.
No. I take a chest slap, forearm. Give me my paycheck. I'm doing it. Look at me.
I saw him in Bloodsport, and I saw him in a death match, all within the same day.
Hey, motherfuckers! I saw him against gay wrestling icon Effie. And
there you go.
Effie! And it was the best match of 2022. Facts.
Oh my gosh. I saw him actually at Effie's big gay brunch.
Yes.
Now here's the deal. So the gimmick is over. He's in it's true. He's in front of the right audience. They buy into every single piece of that game. I don't buy one thing about him, but that crowd loved every second that he was in the ring. His interaction, particularly with Eddie Kingston, was really good when those two collided in the ring. Kingston sold it like he was Jerry Lawler taking on Kurt Hennig. He's pulling down that strap, brother. He's getting ready.
Anytime I hear Eddie Kingston now, I just think of Max Kester. Eddie Kingston, you look like a box of Newports. Dude, every time I cry laughing at that.
He does. So despite my ignorance and slamming of Minoru Suzuki, he was over like Rover with this crowd, like super mega star. And Jericho and Sammy was all over the place in this thing. He was doing move after move, and I mean crisp. We don't talk about Sammy Guevara in a sense that, yes, he's the hot guy. He's got himself healed with his girlfriend, Tay Conte. He's back with Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society. Got a really good gimmick. But, man, that guy in the ring is crisp. He's Brad Armstrong crisp. Just fluid.
He just needs to not yeet himself. He just needs to not yeet himself off the fucking ladder, onto his head.
I know.
Into an ordinary drinking glass. Observe. It's sorry, I'm still thinking about when we did Battle of the Belts and he took on Cody. I think it was Cody for the TV title, and he took that plunge off the ladder and damn near killed himself.
He's always doing it. He's always at it.
Sammy Guevara right now is one of the great young stars of current professional wrestling, and he's not going to make it to 40 at the rate he's.
No, he will make Jeff Hardy look like a spring chicken.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy, who's existing on fumes at this point. Anyway,
buddies.
Jericho, Sammy, and Minoru Suzuki defeated Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, it's the stupidest name ever, and Shota Umino. Thank you. That's the very same. All right. For the winner take all Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships and IWGP Tag Team Championships, Top Guys, FTR, defeated the United Empire and my wife's new favorite tag team, Roppongi Vice. RPG. Yeah, buddy. Dude, FTR, when they're not wrestling the Young Bucks, who are constantly sandbagging them, really are like, and I like legitimately get into them. Their match with the Briscoes at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view WrestleMania weekend. Every time FTR can get in there with guys that can go, best match of the night. And this was no different. They worked their asses off with these other two tag teams, and it was fantastic.
There's one thing I have to say about this match. Now, is Cobb like Rhino's illegitimate son?
Yes,
like,
buddy. He is he's Rhino cut in the space-time continuum, and it's just like an alternate version.
Right.
He's like Zurg. He's like Zurg from Lightyear. He's like the alternate Rhino. Oh shit! Did I spoil that? Oh no.
That's okay. Nobody saw Lightyear, so no one knows what you're talking about.
And shame on you, people.
I saw it.
I did too. I loved it.
So did I, but no one else did. Anyway, yeah, I thought this was a great match. You guys have anything about this match that you want to talk about?
Yeah. No, listen, Jeff Cobb, Great O'Con. These guys were doing a lot of heavy lifting for throwing around Beretta. It was pretty cool. I got to say, you got a real good combination of styles. Every single time I see a multi-man or a tag match, I just want to turn off my TV. And we were totally absorbed in these multi-man matches on this show. But every single time, FTR pulls it out, and I end up being very, very happy I watched this match. And FTR winning yet another belt added to the collection. Nothing but stars on this one, man. This was greatness.
There's one thing I want to say, and it's about Trent Beretta. Trent Beretta needs to get a belt. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's
something,
because that guy always brings it with every single match he has been in an AEW so far.
Solid performer.
Yeah, and he deserves a working man's belt. I don't care if it's the TBS belt, the TNT belt, the All Atlantic belt, the Women's Championship belt. Give this guy a belt and have him just run with it for like a good couple.
I would not give him the women's belt because I don't think he can take what's her face there.
Nyla?
No,
Jade.
Yeah,
Cargill, that bitch.
That bitch.
Bitch. I think she could take Trent Beretta, and I don't say that lightly.
No.
Does she not realize that the word baddie means something different on things like Omega? Anyway.
Hell yeah.
Does Trent Beretta's mom still drive him to the matches? Are we still doing that?
No, they listen. They're slowly getting away from the Orange Cassidy collection of friends. Oh, okay. So it's still somewhat alluded at, but they don't have Statlander being the alien. They don't have these guys they're back to being Roppongi Vice, and they're back to being like a credible tag team. So I like the direction that they're going here, and they really showed their stuff. So good for them. Speaking of not showing their stuff, let's talk about Clark Connors. Boy, if there was ever a red shirt put in a match, it's Clark Connors. I wonder who's losing this match. It's Clark Connors. Spoiler.
What do you mean a red shirt? Riker was a red shirt.
AEW
was a red shirt.
Fair enough.
AEW All Atlantic Championship. Pac defeats Soldier of God, Hand of God, the Redeemer, Mira, which I was pissed about because he should have won this match.
Yeah, absolutely should have won this.
Malachi Black and red shirt Clark Connors. Look, you guys already said it. There's way too many multi-man matches in this. It was way too many. This was a very much get your shit in kind of card, which again, you and I'm going to say this now. I talked to Neil about it before we started the show. You and I talked about it in chat, Chris. I'll go ahead and just say it was a fine night of wrestling. I was entertained. This was a fun. If I'm gonna make people who don't watch wrestling, this was a good one to show them because you didn't need to know 4 to 6 weeks worth of stories to understand what was happening. Because
that's good because we didn't get 4 to 6 weeks of good story because the build was horrendous.
It was very much almost like a marketing thing where it's like we're gonna put this out there for people who've never watched wrestling before to say this is what this is, and I think on that level it works. But I use the term and I'll give you guys a chance to respond to this for our audience's sake. This felt like watching the Harlem Globetrotters.
Definitely.
You're not really there to watch a competitive basketball game. You're there to watch sports entertainment. Something that looks like basketball, but is there to entertain families.
I wouldn't even call this sports entertainment. I would call this professional wrestling.
Yeah, I would call this.
You call it what you want, but it was a night of
Globetrotters wrestling, professional Globetrotters professional wrestling. That's what this was. Yeah, absolutely.
But one of the legs on the stool of professional wrestling is the drama, and this was, in my opinion, and this is why I say it's Harlem Globetrotters, this was severely lacking in that one critical element, Neil. It was a lot of solid wrestling. It made, you as a pure wrestling fan got more than your money's worth, but I don't know if it had that special drama element to it that really makes us the fans that we are.
Now, I agree with that on literally the main card. I think the actual buy-in had more of a telling some stories going on than the actual main card. So I totally agree with that on many points, because like we actually had story with the Keith Lee Swerve thing, because there's like three different stories they told in there. The QT Marshall.
Now, Neil, I will tell you that you are the only one who knows about the QT Marshall storyline. You are it. That one box up in the corner up here, ladies and gentlemen, up here with Neil. He's the only one who knows that.
But still, I wish there was some more build up, especially to this match here with Black, Pac, Miro, and whatever that guy's name is.
Clark Connors, everybody. Red shirt, Clark Connors. Taking that bump.
Clark Connors.
He came in like a ball of Sam Houston fire, and he ended up just like him, looking at those lights.
But like, I just wish there were some more builds up, especially for something when you're crowning a new championship title.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, even if you told a story just between like Black and Pac and had the two of them going at it, but I understand you still had to throw your New Japan guy in there.
Did the right man win?
No.
Right. I agree.
Miro. How do you
absolutely?
I understand Miro. I understand Miro was on the shelf there, but this should have been like Miro's big coming back party. You know.
Yeah. This is the way.
You and I talked a few months ago. I think it might have been either Double or Nothing, or even before that, Revolution, where Chris, you and I were like, how do you not have Miro make a beeline for the title at this point?
Right.
How is Miro not your big like Andre the Giant heel and just wrecking people left and right and coming straight at whoever you're like? They've already taken the title off Page and they put it on CM Punk because they have no self-control. How do you not build towards Miro versus Adam Page? It's like easy money, and they just went right past it.
Yeah.
How was the match? What do you think, Chris?
Oh man!
Pac, Miro, Malachi Black, and red shirt.
With the talent that's in this ring, there is no issue at all. And listen, I'm crapping all over Clark Connors. You watch this guy in this ring. This kid is super talented, man. He bumps like a mother trucker. He's got a good look to him. It's just that he came out to a crowd that I'd say a very small section of the niche knew him, and
hey, it's that one guy from that one time. I saw him in that one show.
and I think this whole match reminds me of the psoriasis commercial. You ever hear that one that goes, "Nothing means everything"? Remember that one? Anyway, this is this whole card. It literally nothing means anything. You know what I mean? We've got a few title changes. We still got psoriasis. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, moving on.
I thought this match was a little good because the chemistry between Pac and Black, every time
absolutely
you throw those two in the ring, boom, that's what
I agree. And the chemistry was there, and there was almost needless chemistry because I mean, you had the Clark kid, and I mean he was fluid, man. He was matching up skill like bell to bell with these guys, and it was a good match overall. Now he was no Stinger.
Okay, let me get there.
Ow!
So Sting, Darby Allin, and Shingo Takagi defeated the young Shingo Takagi.
Yes,
Takagi. The dudes with attitudes.
Sting breaking that bad boy back out.
And the Young Bucks versus El Phantasmo. Look,
and Hikuleo. Don't forget Hikuleo.
At this point, if you just don't accept that the Young Bucks are going to Young Buck, you're not going to like any of their matches. However,
I love it. Young Bucks are going to Young Buck.
If you're down with the Young Bucks Young Bucking, then you know after that you're just having a grand old time. I loved the little Batman-esque silhouette at the beginning.
It was cool.
I honestly thought they were going to dump this octogenarian from the ceiling. That he was going to come down, rappel down like old WCW. But no, instead he just yeets himself off the ramp, and we were off and running. I mean, this was a fun match. This was Let's not take this too seriously. We have an 80-year-old man, a midget, a Japanese, the Young Bucks.
What? Are you making fun of Shingo?
Let's just have fun with this and give the crowd a moment. And they created many here. We had a super kick party, all the things. This was a lot of fun, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Sting take bumps at his age is scary and amazing at the same time. I don't know why he's not going to be in that final match with 95-year-old Ric Flair, but that's
he should be, man. He looked good here tonight.
Yeah, and the Bucks, I mean, they 942 super kicks,
at least,
not to be beat by one of their friends we'll talk about later. But seriously, it was like back and forth with these guys. Everybody did their part. It was, and I think the right people came out on top on this one.
So electric, hot crowd. Sting with the ring rust completely blown off him here. He looked crisp, man. This is the best I've seen him since WCW. Like, he's really, really got his groove back inside that ring. And the best thing about it is that the crowd is completely buying in, like they bought into Minoru Suzuki. You know what I mean? They're into the Sting gimmick. He's not doing anything revolutionary, let's face it. And let me tell you, man, Shingo was laying in those forearms. Wow.
Not
just laying those in.
Not as cool as the fancy dance back racks. We got like, what was that? Why are we doing 17 backflips for a back rack?
And let's not forget about Hikuleo's contribution for getting up on the ring apron and plummeting to his ringside.
I got to talk about the backflip thing because my daughter at that point, my daughter was watching and she looks at it, she sees him do that. She was like, "Really? What are we like?" All those backflips, and that's all he does with it. And I'm like, have you not seen the people's elbow? Like, let's, this is wrestling, everybody.
Yep.
Like once one guy did it and it got over, and then another guy, and then John Cena does it with the 5-knuckle shuffle. It's game on. Everyone's gonna do that.
Hogan
now.
with the build up. I mean, you can even go back to Hogan with the build up, the no sell build up.
There's one spot I want to call out, which is great. Finally, somebody actually did it. So you know how we like to have these pile-ups on the outside of the ring, and then you got, wrestler A is inside the ring, and he runs back and he dives over to the ropes and he cleans them all out. Well, Sting is in the middle of this ring. El Phantasmo and the Bucks and Hikuleo's on the outside. And Sting looks like he's getting ramped up to dive over the ropes, and the guys look at each other and they're like, well, we're all standing. And they just charged the ring and they kicked the shit out of Sting. I was like, finally, somebody woke up.
Right.
It was so good. What a refreshing spot.
All right.
And man, Shingo laid in those forearms.
So this is supposed to be AEW versus New Japan.
Yeah.
I thought Tony Storm went to AEW. Why do we have two AEW people in this match?
Whoa.
Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm.
You jumped a main important part of this whole entire pay-per-view.
You
just missed a soap segment.
Oh, yes,
I forgot about the Wizard Jericho.
Oh my God,
fireballing!
My wife, who's not really following this that close, was like, "Is this going to be a thing now with Jericho? He has to blow fire in everyone's face." And I'm like, "Well, he's got, he's fat, so he's got all that room for the, for the lighter fluid and whatever else he needs to use." Yeah, essentially Jericho has become a dragon.
Now he fireballed. Who did he fireball, Mark? He fireballed
Yumino. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But did you get your ticket bot for Jericho Yumino?
Thunder Rosa took on Tony Storm. I would like to talk about Tony Storm has lost a significant amount of weight.
Yeah, and it's not good, dude. Not good.
Oh, no. Here's the problem. I think Tony Storm looked her best in the early days when she was on NXT, where she had good thick thighs, but she looked in shape and she looked she looked like she could kick ass, but she's still hot looking. And then she put on more weight and it all seemed to go to her thighs. So it was like this really skinny like torso on these two big turkey legs. Which we talked about. We've been documenting the shape and size and change.
The body shaming network that we are. Radulich and body shaming.
Radulich and body shaming. Look, I got Jericho and Tony Storm. I'm equal opportunity.
Fair. That is fair. That is fair.
Here, she seems to have lost all that like thigh weight. She actually looked like in proportion, but she's even thinner now than she was when she was first in NXT. Yeah. I thought she looked good though. What did you think, Neil?
I mean, I really like the match. I'm not. I don't really stare at wrestlers.
Tell me about her
Oh
thighs.
my God! I don't really stare at wrestlers. The lies that are being told up
I was
here.
gonna say you.
I'm not the kind of person
You
like
lying
that guy's
woke
fat, and that
motherfucker.
girl-
Oh my
I
God!
don't
That
look
girl
at
needs
girls.
to lose weight. I'm not that guy.
I don't look at
This-
girls'
what I'm
bodies.
gonna say is like
This show just got too woke for me.
No, I'm not even woke. I just don't give a shit.
I'm Neil Blackwood, and I don't look at girls' bodies.
Yeah, put it up. Put it up on his name.
Wait a minute.
Put it up on that name right there, Mark.
No.
He does.
That's not what I said. I just said I don't care whatever. Because I mean, come on. I was a fan of Akeem back in the day. Going against so it doesn't matter to me. But my thing here in this match was I thought there was some really hard guys, obviously, and hard shots given to each other.
Please tell me about the hard guys giving it to
The
each
hard
other.
guys. Obviously, you two. Anyway, just like, you're the kind that'd be like Pee Wee Herman at the movie theater. More butter, more butter, more butter. Anyway, so. But the two of these girls, I thought, really came out. These two women came out, and I thought there's an exchange of chops that they had at one point where I was like, oh, that's gotta hurt the whole sternum area. They're both gonna be bruised and gonna need stuff. And there's a pile driver that Rosa did at one point where I was just like, did she kill her? Like, are we going to have an Austin thing? Like, is Toni Storm done for life? So I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah.
Besides the ill-proportioned Toni Storm, I guess.
I think
ill-proportioned is the point that I'm making.
But that's not her. That's not her shtick. She needs to be ill-proportioned. My God. And anyway, this is the best wrestled men's match on the card.
Oh,
it was nuts and bolts. It had some power aspects to the match. It had a clean finish. There was none of this choreographed Young Bucks crap. It was a straightforward meat on meat wrestling match, and I liked it.
Here's what I've always said about Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa works at the level of her opponent. If she's in there with somebody who can go like Toni Storm, she'll have a great match. But if she's in there with like the Chris Statlanders, the klutzy people, she's not having a good match. She can't. Right. Thunder Rosa is somebody who is a good dance partner.
Compliment. There you go.
She does not elevate anybody. That's more Serena Deeb.
Yeah,
she's not. Don't worry, I'll carry the match, brother.
Yeah,
that's not her. That's not her deal.
But she's gonna get to the finals like Miz and the Dancing of the Stars. Got it.
Yeah. Boom. IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay retained against Orange Cassidy. I love Will Ospreay. Harry and I started doing the Indie-Siders because I really wanted to watch the House of Glory show with Amazing Red and Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is one of those guys who, wherever he shows up, whatever indie card he shows up in, or whatever big deal he's doing in Japan, I'll go and I'll make a point to watch it. He's one of the best wrestlers on the circuit today. I was curious to see how he would match up with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is a crowd favorite, but I don't think he's the world's best wrestler. I think he gets by on favoritism and gimmickry. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, credit where credit's due, I think when Orange Cassidy has to step up, he will. I think Orange Cassidy, Neil, has kind of a Hogan thing going for him, where he knows just what to do to get over. And he's not putting in more effort than that. But when he's not wrestling Andre the Giant, he has to go wrestle in Japan. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to get that match where it needs to be. But he's not doing that all the time. It isn't necessary. He doesn't have to. So I thought Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy put on a really good match here.
I mean, these guys have wrestled each other before, and they get each other. They just know how to do it. I mean, and there's some great spots in there. I mean, one, you had the made up, or not the made up, but the storyline from New Japan working in this a little bit with Juice Robinson holding the U.S. title in the crowd. That was kind of cool. And then on top of that, the whole camera breaking with Cassie slamming Ospreay's face like, bam, right in that camera. I was like, oh, who'd ever thought that they would use that for something like that?
That's cool. That's cool.
I thought that was a cool spot. And there's a spinning backbreaker at one point that was just ridiculous. I mean, I thought this was a really, really good match. I thought it was one of the better matches, if not one of the best matches of the entire night.
No question. No question. My favorite match of the entire night. I give this one 5. To me, this was perfect. So, Orange Cassidy, he's an insult to the traditional the people who are invested in professional wrestling. This is exactly who you don't want to see on your screen. You know what I mean? Right. He's the WWE gimmick. He's the gimmick guy. And Will Ospreay is everything the opposite of that. He's Mr. Professional Wrestling, puts on clinics all the time. So you got these two contrasting styles. Will Ospreay is completely insulted that he's even in the ring having to wrestle Orange Cassidy. And that wasn't even his original opponent. So he's even extra super pissed that he's not wrestling Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? Or was it the other way around? I can't remember. Anyway.
He wasn't wrestling, yeah. He wasn't wrestling Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, was it? No, Bryan Danielson. Maybe the next
Zack
one.
Sabre.
The next one.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, he's pissed off. He's in the ring with Orange Cassidy. He's insulted. Cassidy's doing the hands in the pocket thing, really, really pissing him off. They have such a competitive match. And if you look at it, he actually pins Will Ospreay 1, 2, 3, and the ref just goes, nope, 2. And I'm like, oh, shit. I wish the camera wasn't so close to that. But what a competitive match. And, of course, Ospreay had to win this. But, man, I think he did the work in, elevating just Orange Cassidy's credentials on the mainstream here.
Will actually, in 4 seconds, he did a 2 moonsaults, a shooting star express, and a corkscrew.
Oh, that was so good, man.
In a span of, 4 seconds. That happened. Yeah. I was making notes of this and while I'm watching it, and I'm like, he did some flippity shit.
So remember when I trashed the New Japan stars? Will Ospreay is not one of these people who I'm going to trash, because I'm telling you right now, he's top level. If I was AEW, I'd be roping that guy in for more appearances.
Yeah,
if he's willing to do it. I mean, it's not like Will Ospreay hasn't had opportunities to jump out of New Japan. It just doesn't go. All right.
Well, listen, he's good in his element, and man, he shined here.
Alrighty. So Zack Sabre Jr. had a mystery opponent, and that mystery opponent was the former Cesaro from the WWE, Claudio Castagnoli. Yes, Claudio is back, and we were also very excited. This was, Chris, you and I have talked about when people leave the WWE as disenchanted as they are, and then they show up in AEW, at least for the first little while, that brightness that just overtakes them. They're just so happy. They're so happy to be free. They escaped the plantation. They are free of the shackles. And they get here and they're like, finally, Chris Bailey, I can be me. And Cesaro, that poor bastard, Vince McMahon saying he won't reach for the brass ring, except that every time you do, you hit him in the face with a bat.
That's right.
And they're like, oh, but he can't get there as you're hitting him. So now he's here, and I understand they were going to do Forbidden Door well before he made the jump. But this was a moment that almost felt like it was entirely built around Claudio.
No question. And you know what? It's too bad, because you got Zack Sabre Jr., who, is
completely eclipsed by Cesaro.
Yeah, and that's a shame, because he's one of the highlights of modern day international professional wrestling. Let's be honest. He is a major star. And if you ever seen Zack Sabre Jr. take on Will Ospreay, it's one of the best matches you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. Absolutely incredible and groundbreaking, and it just got washed away with Claudio. You know what I mean? Which is sort of bad. But listen, they had a good match. It wasn't 5 stars, but it was really serviceable. And
I think the reason they had a good match was because of Sabre, because Sabre knew how to counteract things. There was the sharpshooter into a heel hook. That was that was just one of the most beautiful transactions in a wrestling match I've seen in a long time. And it was the fact that literally the loudest pop of the night was when Claudio's music hit.
Claudio looked like such a star. But he earned every minute, because it wasn't like he just got there. He was like, I'm here. I'm to be appreciated. And then has kind of an okay match. They had the best match of the night. By far the best match of the night. Zack Sabre Jr. and Claudio. It was amazing.
Oh, no. I think it got lost in the shuffle with Cassidy and Ospreay. I don't think they can hold a candle.
I would say, if I didn't have to choose, I would say these two matches were the core of this entire show, and were the two.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. These are the two. Yeah, these are the wedge, the sandwich for sure.
And no matter where you look now online, seriously, all the ratings and stuff like that, if you want to go buy that crap, Literally, these two have those two matches literally have the same match of points amongst every person that reviewed it. Like right now, I'm on one side, it's an A+ and an A+. The other one, it's like an A- and an A-. The other one is like a 4.8 and a 4.8. So I mean, it's like
Wade Keller says 4 stars for Cassidy and Ospreay, 3.5 for Claudio and Zack Sabre.
Ooh,
there you go.
But I'm wondering how much of that is. I'm wondering how much of that is just prejudice towards Will Ospreay. You know.
Oh, could be. Absolutely. Yeah. No, well, listen, I think entertainment value, the Ospreay match was better. Nuts and bolts, scientific wrestling. If you were into straight up professional wrestling, this was the better match.
All right.
No question.
Really quick though, because Claudio is now added to the Blackpool Combat Club. Can we now say that's the most powerful club in the entire or faction amongst all of wrestling?
If they would keep them together, I mean, they keep putting people on different teams. They keep separating them. And listen, William Regal doesn't show up for half the appearances. You got Wheeler Yuta on yes, you're 100% right. But I think they're doing a shit job of saying, here is the Blackpool, Combat Club. Here is everybody together at once. I don't know. It seems like they're fumbling the ball a little bit.
What's the match at Blood and Guts? Which team is versus which team?
That's that's Chris Jericho's team versus the
Eddie Kingston.
Blackpool. Yeah, Blackpool with also Eddie Kingston and the gosh dang it, the two guys from that was in
Proud and Powerful.
The what do you call it? Latin American Exchange or whatever the hell they were called.
Yeah.
LAX. LAX.
Yeah. So it's Eddie and those two. Then it's Moxley and now Claudio versus Jericho, the 2.0 whatever guys, and who else is in that? I don't know.
Right.
Well,
but that's the thing. It's not the entire Blackpool club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a part of it and mixed in with somebody else who's not part of the club. Like it's confusion to me. But I want to talk about Claudio for a second. They're talking about how great of shape this guy is in. If you looked at the shape he came in at WrestleMania when he finally got that big win over Seth Rollins, he was lean, he was slender. This is not the lean and slender Claudio. He's after bulking up, man. He's lost those intensely ripped abs. He's like a much bulkier. He's more on the meatier side here. So people are saying that he's in the best shape of his career. If you're looking for bigger,
I would like to point out that when I say stuff like that, I get accused of body shaming. I'm just saying.
Well, this is the body shaming network. Okay. What I'm saying is he's not ripped. He's not super ripped here. He's bigger. That's what I'll say, but not fat.
See, he lives in America now. He's eating a few Big Macs.
That's right. All right. Oh boy, the screw up of the night. Here we go. Let's talk about it.
Okay. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Switchblade Jay White retained against Rainmaker.
The best wrestler in the world.
Hangman. All I do is clotheslines Page.
And no,
baby.
Adam, I do more super kicks than the entire Young Bucks match.
Adam Cole, I don't give a shit, baby.
No, Hangman Adam Page that I do at least as many clotheslines as Okada. Rainmaker. I love that though. I got to say, I'm not insulting him when I say that. I actually do love that entrance.
I like the psychology of this match, that they acknowledge that both Jay White and Adam Cole, baby, boom, are with Bullet Club, and then Page and Okada have no connection, so it was easy to divide and conquer, but then everything broke down.
Page was part of Bullet Club, back in the day.
Well, there's no connection between Page and Okada, is what I said.
Well, technically, yes, you're right, yes.
So I not as good as the matches we just talked about, but still a very entertaining match. And I think the right guy won. How do you can't, and that's the other, my other problem with Forbidden Door. There's no stakes. There's no real stakes here. There was no way they were going to unseat a New Japan guy who had a belt. There was no way an AEW guy was going to lose their belt. So at the end of the day, it was like, this is fun to watch them all interact with each other, but there were no stakes involved, Neil.
Yeah, nobody lost a belt in this.
Right. But I think, Adam Cole, as of late, has really been accused of phoning it in. I thought he turned it on for this one. I thought he knew, you know, he was on a big stage here, and he couldn't just phone it in like he's been doing on Dynamite. So
and a little bit better shape too.
Yeah, he's lost a little bit of his belly fat.
And we gotta like definitely put a spotlight on the fact that, you know, there was a standing ovation before the match even started. You know, like people were really excited going into this match.
Can I ask a real quick question? Did Okada look also like thinner than normal? Like, wasn't he when he was carrying the title a year or two ago?
Yeah, he was bulkier, much meatier. Yeah,
he was much bulkier then.
Okay, is he off the gas or something? Like, why? Like, how do you slim down so much?
Maybe maybe the cameras here give less weight adage.
No, he was markedly thinner in the face and everything.
Yeah. Almost the way he wasn't like I had to remember, like, is that the Okada I remember? Is it the different Okada? Like, oh,
maybe you went on a cleanse. Chris, every now and then you got to clean out the plumbing, man.
No shit. Literally. Okay. So what is the match?
So botched ending. The ending was supposed to be Okada given the Rainmaker. Jay White is supposed to come in, knock Okada out of the ring, and steal the pin. The only problem is Adam Cole did not take the Rainmaker. Jay White interfered prior to this, so all that happened, he set him up for the Rainmaker, did not hit it, just sort of pushed him away. He fell down in the corner. Switchblade Jay White, after dispatching Okada, went over and literally pinned Adam Cole. 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole even rolled the shoulder on the 3. Ref counted it anyway. Total botch finish. Just watch it again. It's totally brutal. Brutal. But okay, let's throw it out at the door. This was a very well wrestled match. You got to see Okada on the big screen. And if anyone came in saying, okay, my God, I heard so much about this Okada guy, greatest wrestler in the world. Oh my God, Dave Meltzer, 5 stars, maybe 6 stars, 7 stars. Good Lord, 8 stars. Who knows? And do you think that you got that? We didn't. No. Spoiler, we did not get that. We got a very basic style, which honestly, this is what Okada is. There's nothing more to him. He gave the greatest hits package of Okada here. This is what you've been getting the entire time. But with different dance partners. He had the Tanahashis. You know, he had the all the rest of his greatest hits package. You know what I mean? And this is what you get. But listen, you got Jay White, who is, I would say, a mid-card talent, elevated to top of the ranks in New Japan. You got Adam Cole putting on his best
champion ever in New Japan. So is he really?
But a absolute mid-card talent.
Like the Miz.
The only reason that he even exists is because they couldn't keep Finn Balor and AJ Styles over there in Japan, and they had to fill somebody in. Hey, you look like a guy who looks like an American.
You're New Zealand guy.
Yep, you're from New Zealand. Oh, that'll work.
Hey, you're not Asian. Get over here.
That's the true story of how Jay White got elevated. But listen, he's a good wrestler. Adam Cole's a good wrestler. This match was good. I think the right guy won. It was nothing to worry about. I liked it.
All right. Since CM Punk was injured as soon as he got the belt, maybe stop putting belt on octogenarians. We have Jon Moxley, who can't seem to wrestle in a ring, versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Jon Moxley won the title because, of course, he did. And it was an okay match. This is one of those deals where like the best stuff was in the middle towards the end, like the last third of the pay-per-view.
Do you know why you feel that way? Because the New Japan stars, the aging New Japan stars, got exposed like standing in the middle of the room naked.
No,
that's exactly what fucking happened here, man.
No, I don't think. First of all, I don't think Tanahashi and Moxley mix well together. I think Moxley can wrestle. I don't know why and not to sound like Jim Cornette here. And now I got my gimmick in for the night. But Jon Moxley has just decided I don't really want to be a wrestler anymore. I want to be like Jon Moxley when he wrestles in GCW. It works. Jon Moxley, when he's in garbage matches in AEW, it works just fine. When they ask him to wrestle a real match, it's like meh, and then it kind of falls apart. I don't think this was a very good match. I think Tanahashi and Moxley clashed a lot. I think Tanahashi was trying to do his level best with Moxley, and Moxley was like, "But no, I want to do chairs and tables and shit." And Tanahashi's like, "No, dump me on my head. This is what I do." And like, meh. And so it's a lot of. It just felt very awkward to me. And it was Eddie Izzard's joke about I kind of like to end my set with a instead of a whoo. That's kind of how the whole event felt. Like so many good memories and so many good spots and so many good matches. And then you get to the end and it wasn't quite Ill Get Off Me, but it was definitely trip and fall out of the bed.
It was forearm, chest slap, multi-chest slaps. Multi-chest slaps on the outside of the ring, chest slaps. So it was different because they rolled out of the ring and then they did chest slaps and these forearms outside of the ring.
Right.
All right. So it was really different.
Your chops are different. Your chops are different inside. Yeah. And that's the other thing. So somebody was asking me that I was working with, like, why is he bleeding? And I'm like, because Jon Moxley thinks that blood in every match is what makes the match. And it's like, no. Yeah. You have to use blood. You have to use restraint when using blood. You can't just be like, I'm going to bleed in this match and it'll automatically be one more star in the Dave Meltzer book. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Like, where did he randomly started bleeding from? Like, it was like, I know he started randomly bleeding from his head, but it was just like, what did someone just pinch his forehead and now he's bleeding? And there's blood everywhere. I was just like, what the hell? Where did that come from? And I rewound it and watched it 3 or 4 times trying to figure out where exactly you're selling that crimson mask from.
And Tanahashi just jobbed to him as well, which was flat out, straight up jobbed.
Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, there were several, I think there was a kick out by Tanahashi at one point where he was obviously way too late and Aubrey just stopped the freak out.
I know. And that's the second time that happened this show.
And then even the table spot was very sloppy looking. It didn't look like the guy knew how to go through a table. It was just I feel like you hit it right on the button where it was you had two people mixing together that you thought was going to be a lot better. And it just kind of did not go well. I'm just glad Moxley's the champion. So honestly,
maybe they should have put Moxley in the match before this and put Adam Cole or Adam Page, maybe Adam Page, in the main event against Tanahashi. That might have worked better.
Well, listen. I know I've been super critical on the New Japan stars on this show, but I do like Tanahashi and I followed his career. And to me, he was the second coming of Jushin Liger. He had that skill set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looked like him. He had the same body type. He did, the same aerial moves combination with the power moves. And I really like his look. He looks like an action figure, man. He looks like, you know what I mean? He looks like a star. And they just didn't get it together. And I clash of styles, too bad, and you know what, it comes down to the build. Was there really a great build? No, it was just, hey, Tanahashi, I've been chasing you around for years and finally I got a chance to wrestle you, and maybe you should have stayed hidden. I don't know.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, but I just thought of this as you're making a point about the Japanese wrestlers on this card. Do you think maybe jet lag had something to do with them not performing at the main, if this was AEW over to Japan instead of the other way around?
To be fair, that style, and I know I make fun of the forearm and the chest slap, that is the style of Japan. That's the base style. That's your core group. And when you see that on display here in the States, it just looks like all these guys are repeating the same formula for every match, but that's the base style. That's your basic setup. You know what I mean?
If it's jet lag, why wouldn't there have been more guys? It's only this match that
so if they weren't jet lag, what would their chops be better? Would their forearms be more?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm being insulting now.
Half of the New Japan wrestlers were already wrestling in America. Kazuki, I think that guy's been wrestling in America since WrestleMania.
That's true.
So some of these guys were already over here for a while, but I think some of them you could tell maybe they were flown here the night before and they didn't know what state they're in or what country they're in.
Okada looked a little frazzled there. He's like, man, I'm really not having this here tonight.
Okada, the ring's that way. Rainmaker?
Rainmaker!
I like the conflicting styles of announcing too. So they had the ring announcer and then they had the Japanese ring announcer who didn't do the full introduction. So, what's the guy? What's the AEW guy from WWE? What's his name? Justin Roberts. So he was doing the full intro, making his way towards the ring and all this type of stuff. And he'd say the name Jon Moxley. And then the Japanese guy, Yeah, the Japanese guy just said the name. He didn't do the introduction. John Moxley.
Like Justin
It was really strange.
That was
the
one
Japanese
of the
guy,
funny
John
parts of the
Moxley.
pay-per-view too. Was
Yeah,
and then
it was really strange.
Taz, it's your turn, John Moxley. I
It was
rewound
odd.
that like several times.
Well, that
But then you had
wraps
to beat down at the end. They had to beat down at the end to set up Blood and Guts, the Jericho
Yeah.
Appreciation Society, whatever
Tonight.
version of the Blackpool Combat Club rushed out, and it was just a schmaz, as Bret Hart would say. They came out there and we had a schmaz.
Maybe we're gonna have a schmaz or something, and then I'll turn in the title and piss in Vince McMahon's mouth. Anyway, speaking and pissing in Vince McMahon's mouth, this was a great show for the most part.
Yeah. It was good.
I don't know if I need to see it again. I put 2022 in here in case this becomes a yearly thing, but I think as a treat for the fans, it was a lot of fun. But I don't think it's something we need to keep doing unless you're going to do a full-on invasion angle and you're going to develop some stories out of this. I think just putting together more than one event just to have it is unnecessary. Chris, I'll give you and then Neil the final word.
Yeah, so I think this is trying to get out the greatest hits, or maybe this was just a groundwork of an introduction to the New Japan stars. I think it would have been more effective if it was on foreign soil. If you actually had it in Japan, I think you probably would have had a different reaction and probably a better looking product. But listen, overall enjoyable show. I am going to give it a thumbs up, a passing thumbs up though, probably a 3-5 out of 5, because there was definitely some junk and clutter in the midst here, but there were some two solid pieces of very, very good action here. So definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, I mean, they made $5 million in pay-per-view buys. It made $1 million in ticket sales. I mean, it obviously made some money. So,
absolutely, that's great.
And Tony Khan stated, during the press conference afterwards that they do want to try to take this over to Japan next year if they do it again. And that is exactly what I think would have worked. And I'd have to agree with you on the evasion angle. You have to give us a little more story, man. Yeah. On a company that gave us like one of the longest storytelling with Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega for like, what was that, 2 years until he finally got that shot, and you don't give us nothing but like 2 weeks. You can't rush something like this. And yeah, it was a great introduction to the Japanese wrestlers to the American audience that don't normally seek out this kind of wrestling. But I have to agree, this has to be over in Japan. This has to be over there at the Tokyo Dome or somewhere, make it somewhere special and not just like, where were they at? Texas, that makes no sense. No, Chicago. They're in Chicago. Texas.
You made me smile because you brought up the whole Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega thing, and now all I can think about is that lovely romantic video of their relationship that you don't know what you got till it's gone. The highlight of my wrestling watching.
That was
but
funny.
I have to agree with him. There are some good matches, but there were some duds. And I mean, it's like a 50-50 on this. So I'd definitely go 3.5 on this,
Right. Well, Neil, go ahead and tell them about your movie podcast.
Movie podcast. Oh, I have one of those. Yes, we have a movie podcast called Movies That Don't Suck and Some That Do. We are on Instagram, Twitter, at Facebook, all the above, all the social medias at MTDS Podcast. The next episode, we will be reviewing Elvis and the Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Have you done the Black Phone yet?
That will be next week.
Okay.
We had an argument over which one we wanted to do first, and I won.
Well, I stole your formula. I stole your structure, and we did 2 movies last night too. Because not only did I steal it, but I stole it because I utterly ran out of time to do all these movies. So like I'm gonna do what Neil and your friend does and just double up together, Chris. So last night we did the Black Phone and Elvis. It took us 2.5 hours to get through both of those movies.
Oh, good. Do you got it published already? Because I'll listen to that today.
Yeah, it's up. Oh, that's right. Chris likes it when I'm longer. He doesn't like it when I'm shorter. He likes it when he likes it when I have a nice long girthy podcast.
Full length.
Yeah, thick. He prefers a vascular Radulich podcast as opposed to a
damn it, pal.
Quick and dirty,
It needs to be the podcast jackhammer.
Chris loves it when I give him the podcast jackhammer, and instead of these 1 hour in and out
Yes.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am, type deals.
Yes.
If we could stop doing those jokes for just a moment. Chris Bailey, why don't you talk about podcasts that you do?
You can find me over on listen, you can hook me up on the Twitter. You can yell at me for all my New Japan misgivings over on Twitter at Charlton_hero. You can also hear me hanging out here with Mr. Mark Radulich. We're going to be doing some Money in the Bank this weekend. Can't wait. Over here on TV Party tonight. I'm also on the Wizards podcast Guide to Comics as well, over with Adam, helping out over there from time to time, covering all the fun antics over with Wizards and 90s comic books. So there you go. That's Chris Bailey. That is me.
All right. As I said last night on Damn You Hollywood, it was the Teasleys, both Amber and Jason, myself, Robert Winfrey, and we talked Scott Derrickson's The Black Phone and Boz Luhrmann's Elvis. So go ahead and check that out. I had a show up Monday. It was the finals of the hang on. I'm just going to throw this up there. People can read it on their own. But we had a show. It was the last of our.
Wow. Someone's just like straight up, Young Bucks suck the donkey balls. Man. Damn.
We did an entire series of queer cinema for Pride Month on the Radulich Broadcast Network. I'm very proud of what Sean and I put together in these 3 podcasts. And we did the conclusion last night. We did Benedetta, Brokeback Mountain, and My Own Private Idaho. Here's the problem. This morning I found out somehow I violated a copyright rule. I don't know how. It's just me and Sean talking. Wow. The closest I can come is the thumbnail is the Benedetta poster, but that's not a copyright infringement deal. So it's currently IFC made YouTube take it down. I filed a complaint. Hopefully it'll be back up again by the time anyone listens to this. If you're not listening,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play a trailer. I didn't use any footage. It's just me and Sean, like verbally filleting those movies, but not, visually filleting them. I don't know what I did wrong.
Oh, man.
I don't know what I did wrong.
I got copyrighted for singing Highway to the Danger Zone
during
the Top Gun Maverick episode.
What did you do?
Had to, I literally just I didn't even sing the lyrics right. I don't know what,
Did you have to cut it out of the podcast or we had
to re-edit.
That's bullshit.
It's just like, whatever. That's dumb.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, that's crossing lines now. That is crossing lines.
Hey, I am nothing like Kenny Loggins. Kenny Loggins is a saint.
No doubt.
I love it.
Anyway, hopefully that'll be back up soon. Hopefully I'll win my copyright rebuttal and the video will be back up. In any case, in case it's not, other things you can hear us talk about this week. Tomorrow, there's no podcast tonight. I will be at a speakeasy with my wife.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch burlesque dancers. We'll have
I had those at my wedding.
Did you had burlesque dancers at your wedding?
Yeah, dude. Had a whole troupe.
Nice.
We had a magician,
a
flamethrower.
I thought you didn't like women.
Who said that?
He says he doesn't look at women's bodies.
Oh,
that's what he said.
Just when they're
I'm
naked.
sorry, Neil.
Just when they allow me to see them naked. That's the only time.
The best part of burlesque is because I talked about this on the Metal Hammer of Doom Extra. The best part of the last burlesque show that I saw, and it's the same, and it's Femmes and Follies is the troupe. Is that they were doing like mystery song burlesque, and they didn't. So you would spin the wheel and make a deal, and they would play a song, and they didn't know how long the songs were going to be. And you have to be naked by the end of the song. That's the whole trick with burlesque.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So some of these girls are just like, I think I have 3 minutes, and they're doing their dance. It's like, oh shit, it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I'm not naked yet. And they're like Lex Lugering their clothing off. Like,
That's awesome.
One of the favorites at my wedding was like this lady came out and she did "Sweet Dreams" by Marilyn Manson.
Nice.
Was dressed in in pajamas,
Mhm.
and right when that hard beat hits, her hand came through her pillow, and it was Freddy Krueger's claw, and it was all like the feathers were all blood covered, and her pajamas came off, and she's wearing like a Freddy Krueger bikini.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was really happy.
That's awesome.
Burlesque is fun. All right, moving on. Tomorrow,
says Danhausen's wife.
Danhausen. There's a re-airing of the very last Children of Bodom album review. Hex, that'll be up on the page tomorrow. But we'll also be doing a review of Star Trek Lower Deck Season 2, currently 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Can you believe that? Next week, a short weekend podcast, just because it's July 4th week. We'll be reviewing Minions: The Rise of Gru, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I'll be watching tomorrow, And unless I'm at a game night with my friends, Metal Hammer of Doom will be reviewing Ailstorm, 7th rum of a 7th rum. Chris Bailey, do you like the pirate metal? Are you interested in pirate metal?
I am not at all.
Okay, you should listen to some pirate metal. How about you, Neil? Do you like the pirate metal?
Dude, Ailstorm's my shit, dude. I literally like.
How
much can I cuss on this? You know, fuck.
Damn it, you beat me to it. I was gonna say, how great is fuck with an anchor? I'm gonna send it to Chris Bailey with love.
Perfect.
And when it's time, and when I love you by fucking you with an anchor, it's time to end the podcast. So, for Neil Blackwood of Movies That Don't Suck and Some That Do, and for Charlton Hero from the Filleting Star Wars podcast.
Star Trek's better.
Oh my God. I don't have time for that. Be well, be safe, and behave.
Take care.